I want it to be good. It's Willis. It's my home. It's so cool to have. You know how cool it is to have that kind of gig in your hometown.
Dom Irrera, everybody. Welcome.
A little early. I got to get back to my nap.
Joining us from sunny Los Angeles. Dom, how's the weather right now?
Sunny my ass. It's hot and humid. Just like
really?
Washington, D.C. and Philadelphia. Yeah, no, it's beautiful this weather.
Dom, are you the type that likes to go for a walk in the morning, go get a cup of coffee at the corner, or you like to boil the pot at home?
I don't do anything. I just lay there. She brings me hot, warm, and cool things. I don't go for walks. What do you think I am? A fucking little watch that.
We'll have to edit that out, Dom.
Really?
I don't know. What do you think? Keep it in?
Yeah. I wouldn't keep it in.
We can bleep a lot of this. You just tell us what the bleep. You just said you don't drink coffee. What's that, tea?
Anymore.
Oh, okay. So what's going on, man? You excited about coming home?
Yeah, look at this.
Hey,
hi.
How you doing?
That's what you get when you headline.
All right. You're on a podcast.
Tell me what to do.
All right, goodbye.
You know what's good about her? Not only is she beautiful, but she's long. She's tall. She's a lot taller than me, so she can get like all the shit, the kins and the shelves up there. You know, they can give me nourishment. So, what's this show we're doing here?
This is my podcast, Dom. It's called Ball Breaking with Mike and Steve. And me and Eleanor got into a little bit of a disagreement.
We just have to clarify first. I'm not Mike.
Right.
I'm Brian.
You're not Mike?
I'm not Mike.
No, Mike. He got in trouble with his wife, and he couldn't make the podcast. So I got my Italian friend here to.
He's better anyway. I never cared for Mike.
Oh, really?
I've never seen him sober.
Right.
I've never seen him. The next time I see him, I'll tell him. Hey, Dom. Me and Eleanor Kerrigan got into this little bit of a debate. Ball breaking. When you say to somebody, I caught up with him, I'm breaking balls. Ain't that a terminology for like you're catching up? You agree? Or is it a roast? Excuse me, there's a place I can lay down here. Go ahead, is it a roast what?
When you say to somebody, I'm breaking balls,
yeah,
are you catching up with them or are you roasting them?
Oh, definitely roasting them.
Really?
That's how you used it?
No, well, I'm saying if you catch up with somebody, you don't use that as like a term. I caught up with Brian. I was breaking balls for a little bit. You never use it like that?
What about breaking his balls or your own balls?
No.
I'm saying like you're catching up. If you lick the balls of somebody else for more than 2 seconds.
I don't know what that term would be.
Eleanor, yesterday I brought up this, what's his name? Adam Ray, you know him?
Of course, I've heard of Adam Ray. Very funny.
His show, and I was going to do it. I bring Eleanor. She talked the whole fucking show. Says, thank you, baby, for inviting me to your show, you blabbermouth. And I told Adam, I'll come back and do his show sometime.
Did she have anything good to say at least when she was talking, or was she talking about nonsense?
She was funny. She's very funny.
Well, that's good.
I did hear that episode. Dom's podcast, for any of our listeners, one of my favorites. Dom Irrera live at the Laugh Factory. You just brought that back. How long did you stop recording for a while? It wasn't updated for quite some time. When did you get back into the swing of things?
Well, I had the bronchitis, whatever. What was that germ called?
Oh, COVID-19?
Kobe Bryant, whatever the fuck. Yeah, I was off for about 2 or 3 weeks. You can't beat it. Never knocked me down, Ray. That was horrible, that thing.
I'll beat you up bad?
My chest was making noises. It sounded like a goat or like a dog being punished. Like, when I breathed in and out, pussy was crawling all over me.
Dom, I don't know if you can use that when you're at Philly Live. You know, you might offend a lot of people. Lost their relatives to COVID-19. Sensitive subject. You know?
Oh, I had it. I mean, I could have died.
Yeah.
Your chance. I'm not. I don't think it's funny. You're the one that's told me to do it. You called me up in the middle of the night. Do that COVID. I love that shit. I said, but aren't you allowed to? Don't worry about them. Worry about me.
You
I'm your
excited
boss.
about coming to Philly?
Very excited about. Yeah, but I can't believe this is the first time I ever played Philly and had legal gambling. I mean, everybody gambled, but now it's legal. It takes some of the fun out of it.
Yeah.
Those old ladies with the big tits, and the bookie. What'd you dream last night, Grandma? 434, my underwear size.
You know what's ironic though? All those people hang at the casinos now. How shocking's that? How shocking's that?
I mean, they still got to have the books going, right? I mean,
they're hanging out with their competition.
Yeah, but see, this is the thing though. You can't get credit at the casino like that.
Really?
Well, if you want to place a sports bet down, you know.
Yeah, I do. As a matter of fact.
Yeah.
I'm not. I don't know a lot about. I played football a little. I don't want to brag. I don't want to talk about it. But I don't know. I think the Eagles. I can't see them losing a game
this year.
Right through the Super Bowl. Then Donovan McNabb comes back and he fucks it up again. One more time, Donovan.
He was all right. He wasn't the worst that I've ever seen.
No.
Remember Kevin Kolb? That didn't work out too well.
I don't remember him.
I think he played 4 games. He was the one he got. He was like the backup, and then they brought in Michael Vick. And then remember, Vic just played out of his mind that one year after the dog fighting thing.
Oh God!
And then he put up all them crazy numbers, and then we ended up trading. I think we traded Donovan McNabb to the Washington Redskins, and after that,
that's how afraid we were of him. Put it right in the same division. I don't know. I like Jaworski better than him. You don't remember Jaworski, do you?
Of course, yeah. I know of Ron Jaworski. Right. I mean, I was born in '86.
God, we're so close in age. I mean, like as far as millennials and I can't talk. Can't talk till I have my joy. Yeah, I'm excited about that show. I think it looks like we sold a lot of tickets if you look at those graphs.
Oh yeah, we're looking in good shape, Dom. And thank you again. This is I think it's my 3rd time working with you. The first time at Helium was a full weekend. I remember walking up to you.
That's right. Yeah.
I remember walking up to you at the bar, and I said to you, Dom, you're my favorite comic, and how big of an honor this is to work with you. And you said to me, and I quote, it was just like this. You said, "Oh, don't mention it. If I had your looks in my act, I'd be a superstar." And then I started laughing, and then you said to me, "Oh, it's not a joke," and you walked away from me.
Sure. I look like you. I could have as bad an act as you have. Nobody would care. And I say that with all due respect to you and your people.
I don't have many people, Dom.
How many kids you got?
My daughter's 4 months, and I have a 9-year-old stepson.
That's cool. You got an instant family, huh?
Yeah.
That's a little young, but I see kids that young. I can't mind. I'm afraid if the kid coughed, I'd take her to the hospital.
What's that? 4 months?
Yeah, 4 months. Any months or that, it's just, the kids they're delicate. Anyway, I couldn't do it.
Yeah, but not trying to deal with that. I get that.
That's what Google search engine's for.
Now you don't need those stinking doctors. I got a book.
You just go on Google and you go on YouTube and you look it up. Not saying I do that all the time.
That's how you figured out how to have the baby also too, right?
Nah, come on. I'm blessed with that. I'm all right. That's the only thing I mean, come on. You met my wife, Elena.
Beautiful, yeah.
Yeah. We were hanging backstage when you did the Tropicana in Atlantic City. Again, another show. I had the opportunity to work with you. Thank you again. When you doing the Trop again?
I don't know. I can't talk about those acts until we get done this one.
Oh, okay. Because they're in a certain miles, right?
Yeah, I think it's like 90 miles. And it's 90 miles a year to Wildwood from Philly.
Gotcha.
I don't think a lot of people are getting up, 90 miles away. I got to get to see Dom Irrera. I think like maybe 40 miles.
Why you say that? I beg to
Seen
differ.
my act lately?
Dom,
Ooh.
come on. You're being hard on yourself.
Speaking of hard on myself, it's 2,000 people that Tropicana. It doesn't look like it. It's put out.
It seats 2,000.
Yeah, how's this? This is about 1,000, I think, right?
I don't know what Philly. They've only done, I think, one or two other comedy shows. The first time they're bringing entertainment. So, yeah, I don't know exactly the head count that they seat. You were told 1,000?
I was told 1,000. Yeah.
Yeah.
Isn't that funny how many comedy clubs that is in one shot?
Yeah, like I was going to ask you, like, what's your ideal number that is like the dream scenario for like where you're in your best element? Is it like 100 seats, 1,000 seats? You like doing
1,000? 1,000 is good for a theater.
Yeah,
and for a comedy club, I think like 300 or 400.
What do you like doing better in regards to the art form? Not so much like head count and for the.
Just give me the mic. Give me the fucking mic. I'll show them.
Yeah.
Those bastards. They didn't believe in me. Those nuns.
What do you think? When you did comedy in a stadium, I don't know if a lot of people noticed, but you were an opener for Cher. How many?
She only did a couple of stadiums, mostly arenas.
Well, there was like over 10,000 people on the regular, though, right?
The regular, whatever Madison Square Garden is, that's about that size. But we did like one in Canada that was like 40 or 50,000.
Jesus Christ!
And we lost the electricity, so they couldn't hear me unless I screamed. That was hard. But they were good. The crowd was good.
And were there rules opening for like a music artist like that? Like, did they tell you had to wear clean?
She was very lenient and didn't care. The only joke she didn't like was the one thing you want to be. The one thing you want to hear your girlfriend say when you watch a porn, not to say is, "Now that's a cock." She didn't like that. She goes, "That's a cock." No. Because she has a very eclectic crowd. She has like transvestites and kids, little girls. It's like it's crazy.
Yep.
Wow. But I bet like situations like that, it makes you stronger.
See, you dropped the whole thing. You said situations that.
What did you drop, Brian? You dropped something?
Did. You said, instead of saying that you said at. That's kind of South Philly.
Yeah, I can't help.
I love, by the way.
I can't help myself. I put on like 20 pounds. It's the last time you seen me.
Really?
Yeah, my wife lost the birth weight, and I put it on.
I got to gain 30 pounds by November for part of the movie.
What's the part?
I don't know. Hopefully something comes up. Come on. Ooh, where do I get these fat? Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. Was it this Friday or next Friday?
Next Friday, the 22nd. We're probably gonna air this the front end of the week. What's your go-to food spot every time you're in Philadelphia? Go-to food spot.
I like Poppy's because of the parking.
Poppy's?
It's the saloon because of the food. I guess those two.
And when all these LA comics ask you where they gotta go for a cheesesteak, where do you send them?
Maybe Jim's. I like the chopped up ones. I mean, Geno's and Pat's are good, but I like the chopped up with onions and mushrooms.
Yeah,
you ever go?
I like Jim's. Jim's is a solid steak.
It's what?
It's a good cheesesteak. I think it's a very, very good cheesesteak.
Yeah, he's a South Jersey guy, Dom. He's big on he don't call them hoagies. He calls them subs.
See, I don't like that.
He calls them subs.
I do not like that.
No, I think I say hoagie.
No, you call it a cheesesteak sub. No one ever spoke like that.
No. When did I ever say that? You cannot accuse me of that, bro. You can't just come out and accuse me of something.
New York City is one of the
blasphemous.
best restaurants in the world. They can't make a cheesesteak.
New York City?
Yeah. Why can't they figure it out?
I've never ordered a cheesesteak there. Well,
I dare to walk the edge, my friend. Walk the edge.
How many years did you live in New York?
10.
10 years. And what year did you break in? I'm just curious. I never asked you that question.
Like for television?
No, like when did you start stand up?
1980, 81.
81. Okay.
The Civil War had just ended. It was I was lucky. I went pretty fast. I did TV in about 2 years after I started.
Really? What was the first TV appearance?
Star Search.
Did you have a clean act early on, Dom?
Oh yeah, of course. That's why I'm such a pig now. It's a release. But yeah, I had a very clean act. Somebody said they saw me say this, so fuck that. I didn't say that for that material. Well, yes, you did. I go, no, I didn't. I was on a Tonight Show. I couldn't get away with that. They never let me. They never let me appear on it again.
But I remember you saying to me when you talked about doing Carson that somebody that there was a connection to Johnny that seen your act. And you didn't really audition for it. He said he was going to give you a spot on the Tonight Show. And
because he dug all the girls for the improv. We had beautiful waitresses there. And they liked my act. They would come in. And so they brought him in. And he gave me, Jim McCauley was his name. He just gave me, he said, how'd you like to do the Tonight Show? I go, of course. He goes, you got it. I said, what do you mean? He goes, I saw what you did. Just do that. And that was like Little Petey, Big Petey, that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Famous bit, yep. And then were you friends with Carson, or that there wasn't much of a relationship?
Talked to him during the show and before the show, but no, his group was a little bit out of my league.
Right.
And how many appearances did you have on the show?
Well, I was on with Gary Shandling, and I was on with Leno, and I think that's about it. With Carson himself, I think 3.
Wow. Man, you're a really humble guy. Jesus. 3 times on Carson?
What's that?
3 times on Carson? You're saying only?
I was on Oprah Winfrey. That was well, I was seriously.
Where were you?
My favorite appearance is Seinfeld and the nostrils. That's one of my favorite lines in Seinfeld of the whole show.
I still had my name was still on the back of that hockey jersey.
Oh, really?
I told Larry David, I said, my name's on it. He goes, I don't care. It's a good color for you.
Who do you know who wrote that line about the nostrils? Was it something that you threw in there, idea. Or was it written?
It was written.
Oh, was it written? Okay. Yeah.
Dom, did you audition for Seinfeld, or they kind of just?
No, I didn't even know how good it was. Like, he called me up on a Sunday. I was watching football. And he says, why don't you do the show? I go, I had to go to Riviera and all. And he says, have you seen the show? It's a pretty good show. I said, I heard it was good. I haven't seen it. So I wasn't going in there with any nerves or anything, because to me, it wasn't a big deal. In retrospect, it's incredible, because it's like the most popular ever, I think.
Really? Sitcom. Yeah, it really is. Yeah, the most popular sitcom. So who was it that asked you to go? Did Seinfeld ask you to go on, or?
No, it was Larry David.
Oh, okay. That's awesome. Yeah, it was a great scene.
So you and Larry met in comedy clubs, like
yeah, but Jerry was a closer friend to me, but he didn't like to go around cast and stuff, and I never talked about it with him.
Right.
Like I said, I didn't even know how good the show was. It wasn't a big deal to get it then. In retrospect, you go, holy shit! The people. I'm in New Zealand, actually trotting around this track. And this guy goes, hey, mate, I know you from the nostrils and all that. You see, Seinfeld, holy shit! They recognize you from everywhere for that show.
Yeah, that's I mean, it's one of my favorite shows of all time.
Me too.
My dad, raised me on that show.
But one thing I would never tell Jerry is it's one of the sitcoms we could sleep to. So I mean, I love it. I think it's really funny, but it's one of the Mary Tyler Moore, Seinfeld, and The Twilight Zone. I got her out like a baby. You know what I mean?
Dom, did you do stand up with? Did you and Jerry break in at the same time? Like who was in your class of comics? Like when you think back, breaking in.
Jerry was already good when I came in. He was already established and the number one comedian for the East Coast guys.
Mm-hmm.
Jerry, he was making $1 million, all those years ago. He was unbelievable.
Wow. What about like who was in your class? Like who broke in around the same time? Like was new when you were breaking into the business?
Not really. There wasn't really. That's the only reason I made it, because there wasn't anybody else who was good. But
really?
No, I'm kidding. Let me think.
Like I watched the Comedy Store documentary, and I see a lot of you guys that were store comics. I mean, I didn't realize how wild of a lifestyle it was out there. Were you around for when it was crazy like that?
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
They had guns and stuff, and they always think about today's kids like they're all crazy. It's got the same thing there. A lot of coke, I never did anything. They hated me for it,
I'm sure.
I couldn't do coke. I'm already
really?
Yeah. Sam Kinison, you heard of him?
Of course,
yeah.
Yeah, he was really funny, and but he killed himself, drugs and his lifestyle. It was wicked, man.
Who was your favorite person to watch perform stand up?
Oh, geez, that's a good question. There was a guy named Mark Schiff that made me laugh. He had stupid jokes. He had jokes like Bob Dylan at dinner. Pastor, please. Stupid. Those kind of jokes. But he's funny. He made me laugh. We were going to Ohio one day. We're on the jetway, and he goes, Chuck. All these businessmen are ahead of him. Chuck. And some guy turns around and he goes, I knew there was one of them. There had to be a Chuck on the flight.
That's pretty funny. Oh, that's hysterical.
I mean, Ellen, I started around her. She was good. She was always good. Ellen DeGeneres.
Yep.
Yeah.
And Roseanne. Roseanne was very strong.
Who surprised you? Who surprised you that broke through?
Probably Jim Carrey, the way he became like a movie star.
Really?
We hired Jim Carrey. He was like the token white guy on Living Color.
Yeah.
Okay.
And Damon and I were friends, and Damon couldn't believe, and nobody could believe Jim was making these movies on the side. He was writing with a ghostwriter, and class detective, whatever it was.
Pet detective, right?
Shut to the top. Jim was always funny, but he did impressions,
Yep.
It's kind of corny, but when he hit as a movie star, it was unbelievable.
Wow. And you started before him, right?
No, he started before me. He was younger than me, but he started before me. I taught school for a couple of years at Most Blessed Sacrament, West Philly.
Oh, okay.
Did you teach while you were doing stand-up, or you just dived into the art form?
I was doing theater, I was acting in plays. I was a bouncer at Doc Watson's, Doc Watson's in Philly.
Never heard of it.
I thought it was still there. Anyway, it was like 11th and Chestnut. And me and Randall Cobb, the fighter, he's like a karate champion. And with the two doormen, nobody messed with me because they looked at me. I was like 140 pounds. I thought, he's got to know something. I know nothing. and Randall would get into fights, and he was like, he kicked guys in the fucking head and all. Oh, geez. Is that very unprofessional?
No, we could cut it out. You can pick it up.
Look how old I am. How sad is that? Who knows if I'll last a week?
I asked Brian before you logged on, Dom. I was like, how I look in this lighting? He went, the only thing you got to get rid of is all this fat on the right side of your cheek. Because he knows I gained 20. He's busting my balls. It's like,
you look good.
When you get comfortable, you start, dude, I think about food from the minute I open my eyes in the morning. It's bad.
Yeah, me too.
It's bad.
Well, I remember my grandmother used to show us food while we were eating. Like for lunch, I said, Grandma, I can't look at chicken legs and eat cereal.
Yeah.
You like the wing or the
Did you have a big Italian family, Dom?
Yeah, real big. A lot of aunts, uncles, cousins. We all lived in the same house. Like it was a big house with 4 floors, and my Uncle Tony, Aunt Yola was my blood relative. She was his wife, and she'd come out like 3 o'clock in the morning. We're watching like these old movies, Gunga Din and all this. And she goes, he got to go to bed. What she do is scratch. And she goes, you go, look at her. Is she beautiful? It's like olive oil. And I used to sneak up the steps and watch movies with him every night. You know?
Did you grow up in a row home in South Philly like me, or no, Southwest, right?
I lived in South Philly, and then we moved to West Philly, which is near Penn.
Yep.
And I lived in Southwest maybe a year. Then we moved to Overbrook Park, which was like a Jewish suburb and a pretty nice area. You know where that is? Overbrook Park. It's out by the city line. But I was already in Bartram by then. I graduated from Bartram. I went to some grade school in St. Nicholas something. Mm-hmm. I was in grade school in South Philly, and then high school.
Oh, you went to St. Nick's?
Yeah, St. Nicholas of Tallentine.
Yeah. That's still there.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I went to
They don't keep in touch.
I went to Epiphany of Our Lord, and then high school I went to St. John Newman.
Right.
I was the last graduating class of all boys, and then they became co-ed. But I mean, in regards to food, I don't know, man. Like, I feel like the best food cities, I ranked them. I go Philly, Chicago number 2, and then I go New York number 3.
Wow.
And I know I'm going to get some heat for that. But I lived in Chicago for a year and a half.
Yeah, that's pretty good. LA's got great restaurants, great Japanese restaurants.
Always from the get-go, you always thought the food was good in LA?
Well, I couldn't afford it when I got out here. Now, yeah, there's some great restaurants. Yeah. Well, the movie stars go.
But what I'm saying is, when you went to California, you were already an established stand-up, right?
Yeah, but I wasn't 5-star restaurant stand-up. I was established, but it took a while to get that kind of money.
Right. And when did you like comedy clubs? What comedy clubs were your home bases? Were you
well, the Improv? I was lucky.
The Improv.
I was one of the only acts that could do the Improv and the Comedy Store, because Mitzi, the owner, she liked me, and she would sneak me in the Comedy Store. Where the real money was, and still is, like, we get a percentage of the door. So instead of making $25, we were making like $300-400. You know.
Wow.
Wasn't bad for being in town.
When you prepare for a show like Philly Live, where you're going to be doing an hour, do you work out in LA a couple times before you make the trip?
Yeah, a lot of times. It's just the segues I worry about, making it make sense. But yeah, I definitely do a couple of weeks just for this one gig. I want it to be good. It's my home. It's so cool to have. You know how cool it is to have that kind of gig in your hometown?
Oh my God, I can only imagine. Yeah. We're getting a lot of calls from people. Me and Brett Ernst say this all the time. There's something happens with, like, when you do gigs around people, they hit you up. They're like, hey, I'm trying to get tickets. How do I get tickets?
Yeah, my friend Sharon used to tell people.
You know what they're trying to do, right, Dom?
My friend Sharon is a state trooper up in Jersey. He says, here's what you do, because they was asking him for tickets. You get some money, you put it in your hand, you go up to the window, you go, here, I'll give you this money, give me one of those tickets. That's how you get him. Or you can bust his balls like he has nothing else to do but sit around and do seating like a kind of a maitre d' over there. But that's tougher. That's why I like Long Island, because it's like Philly without the tickets.
Yeah, you got a lot of support down there too. What are your best cities that in your career, like you always done well?
Well, one of my best cities is Kilkenny, Ireland. For some reason,
Really?
It really clicked when I got to Ireland, and so I had a real I could do theaters there. It's pretty funny being from Philly and just being like, the timing was great because the Irish are such good writers. I mean, of course I like the Philly clubs and like Columbus, Ohio. It's weird how Tampa.
Tampa has a lot of Italians and Irish Catholics.
A lot of Philly people too in Tampa, right?
Yeah, I do the other side. I went to college in Miami, so
yep,
it helps.
How somebody was telling me recently that Canada has a lot of Italians.
Oh yeah, well, Toronto's really a lot.
Yeah,
really.
Toronto, yeah.
Montreal has French Canadians, obviously, English people, and they do have like an Italian neighborhood, Montreal, and they probably have. When you talk about good-looking women, Montreal's probably, right up there, number 1 or 2.
Miami also.
Oh yeah, some of those.
You're gonna get me and Brian in a lot of trouble, by the way.
We're talking about beauty here. We're talking about Skanksville.
Let's talk about some of your credits. I'm gonna make a transition here, Dom. Just to try and save my ass. The Rodney Dangerfield special that you were on, that lineup was sick. Can you talk to me about how that opportunity happened and if you had a relationship with Rodney before that?
No, I didn't. We became really good friends, but he came in to see a couple acts, and I was one of them at the Comedy Store. Mm-hmm. Damon Wayans and Barry Sobel were ahead of me. They were supposed to do 10 minutes for the audition. They did 30 each. I was fucking furious. So I go up on stage, and all I did was rag on them. I get off the stage, and Rodney says, "Hey, kid, you're funny, but all you do is bust people's balls. You got an act or what?" I said, "Yeah." He says, "I'll come and see you again." So then he came and see me the second time at the Improv, and I passed.
Wow, and
that was unbelievable because you know how they say he's got a special now. Everybody has specials. You know what special? The guys don't even have a special because it never. Like people make their own. Like this could be a special because of the technology of today.
Right. That's what a lot of people are doing. They'll just tape their set and then they'll make it a special. They'll put it on YouTube.
Louis C.K. did with that. He just sells his own tickets.
Yep, on his online.
But in those days, like only HBO had a couple of specials. We had no competition.
Right.
So if you passed the test there, you were in. I mean, I went to Atlanta right after. I didn't know how big it was. The place was packed. I go, "What's going on here?" They go, "You are." That's how big it was.
So do you think the Rodney special is what changed everything for you?
Absolutely, yeah.
Wow. And what was that? Like a 7-minute set?
7 minutes to glory, my friend.
Wow.
Yeah, it was 7 minutes.
So and then
how many years was it? Were you doing stand up at that point? Do you know?
I probably 5 or 6. I did the Tonight Show, and then the following year I did Brody's. So after I had those two secure, the draw really skyrocketed. Amazing.
Did you ever do any shows with Rodney stand up? Like you guys ever, or he was a star, like a movie actor by then? Because I heard he was a great stand up.
Oh, he's a great, best stand up I've ever seen.
Yeah.
As far as like jokes per minute, oh my God, he's a machine gun.
Uh-huh.
And the young kids liked him. That really helped, But I opened for him a couple of times, and Jim Carrey opened for him when Jim was still doing stand up.
Wow.
But yeah, he had a great crowd.
And then after that Rodney special, I mean, do you guys become personal friends, or it was just a professional?
Oh yeah, we became friends. I love the guy. I mean, he was so funny. He was fun when he was being funny. He was funny. When he was mad, he was funnier. What am I, his fucking daddy, cocksucker? All he does is ask me for fucking favors.
Who was your comedy mentor? Did you have any back then, or it really was
Woody Allen? Woody Allen's writing was incredible to me.
Wow.
Nobody would ever put me, the Italian kid from South Philly, up against this Jewish guy from New York, you know. So, but I thought he was brilliant.
And I read online that you did some work for SNL, but it was brief.
It was basically just money because they said they were gonna hire me for as a not a daily one, but just an occasional gig. I can't think of the word.
What, like a writer?
No, well, yeah, you have to be a writer in that show anyway. But they fired this woman, Jean Damanian was her name. They fired her and brought Lorne Michaels back. So he fired all of us except Eddie Murphy and Joe Piscopo. And so that's when I knew I had to do good. I had to be a good stand-up because then I have more independence. I don't want to depend on the whims of somebody else, you know. So
that's interesting. But don't LA become your home at that point? Because like at that time, the game's changed so much since then, but you needed to audition constantly, right? Because you want to stay relevant. Like you were in Hey Arnold, you did a Comedy Central special in the early 2000s, I think, right?
Well, Hey Arnold is amazingly most popular thing now. People know me as Ernie from
Ernie Potts, yeah.
More than anybody. Like more than Seinfeld, more than any that one thing is where it like 30-year-olds, 25, 30-year-olds, that was their era.
Yeah, Seinfeld and Hey Arnold was for me. I'm 30. Yeah.
Most popular movie I think was the I can't think of it now.
Big Lebowski?
Big Lebowski, yeah.
And how'd that happen? By accident or you auditioned?
No, they saw me at Caroline's. The brothers saw me and they booked it, and they used my material in it. I went to audition for it.
I remember that, yeah.
But you know, they gave me the credit, they gave me the part, so it couldn't have been better.
Wow. So a lot of your acting roles, you really didn't. It was more them becoming fans of your stand-up work. And
yeah, I didn't like auditioning. You know, I don't like the whole thing is the super dyke and reading the sports page while I'm up there dancing. I just didn't like it. And I felt like it took all the power away from me, and I stopped doing it. I got most of my stuff on my own, not auditioning. I sucked as an auditioner.
Did you enjoy the road? Did you enjoy living a life? Like, really?
I loved it, especially like Miami, places that I had a life there.
Right.
Boston was great. Boston had like all those colleges, you know. I could always tell like who saw me on what. Like in Boston, you could tell like a Harvard grad as opposed to, you know, an NFL football nut, you know, because they had so many different colleges, and it was the most incredible city for that. Even though we were dreaded. We hated Boston. I hated the Celtics, you know.
That's fine.
Am I doing okay?
Oh, you're killing. Are you kidding?
This thing on.
Hey, Dom. A couple years ago, you did the roast of Bruce Willis for Comedy Central.
Yeah.
Did he ask you to do it, or was that because I know you know Bruce, right?
Very cool. He said to Comedy Central, if you don't give Dom the part, I'm not doing it.
Wow.
Really?
Yeah, it was cool.
Because I know you are both. He had ties to the Philly area as well, right?
Yeah, Penn's Garden or something.
I think Pennsgrove, right? Jersey.
Well,
right?
I read somewhere he was a bartender in Wildwood.
Yeah, that one. Oh, he might have been. I don't remember that, but he did. He was a bartender in Manhattan, and he wanted to go with a beautiful girl. Just stay with Bruce. He'll get him. he was incredible for women, picking up women. He was in an improv group called the First Amendment, and he was so charismatic and really funny. But he wasn't funny stand-up. He didn't get it.
He tried stand-up, Bruce Willis, really?
Yeah, he tried it, but it didn't. Wasn't his
The
thing.
one actor, I seen it on the Comedy Store documentary. He played Batman in the 80s or 90s.
yeah.
He was a stand-up for a couple months, and he just took off.
That's Keaton, right?
Yeah, that's it. Michael Keaton.
Michael Keaton, yeah. He was before me at the Comedy Store, but that was
Huh.
yeah.
I didn't know that he did stand up.
Yeah, he was like a showcase comic. He really didn't do much of the road or a headliner. He just
He went to acting pretty soon, I think.
wow, that's interesting. Yeah, and did the Philly comics or like the New York comics when you guys got out to LA, did you just bond together, or was it more?
No, I didn't grow up in Philly as far as stand-up was. I grew up in New York because when I auditioned in Philly, they didn't pass me. And
Really? Wow.
Steve Young, this guy at the Comedy
Steve Young, I'm working with him Saturday.
What's he do?
He's headlining at the
Really?
Comedy Cabaret. I'm featuring for him Saturday night.
Well, that's funny because he was the one that rejected me. He said he came up to me at the Comedy Store, the comic strip, right? He goes, "I saw you act. You're not ready for Philly yet." I said, "I'm from Philly." He goes, "Yeah, you're not really a Philly act yet." So I hated him, and
Wow.
tell him no. Well, of course you're gonna hate somebody that tells you you're not ready for your own city.
Wow, that is crazy.
I had no idea he was doing stand up because he was never funny.
Is it the same? Is it the same guy? Are you sure it's the same guy, Steve Young?
It's got to be. It's got to be. Man, that's a small world, man. See that? You
That's why
never
be
know.
nice to people.
Oh, you never know. See that? That's crazy.
Now you have some topic of conversation when you see him.
Well, you know what's crazy about this business? Brian's not a comic, Dom, and I try to tell him that, like, I don't understand when people are so, I don't know, arrogant, like they're dicks to each other. They don't want to help. They don't want to help, or it's a weird business. It's very strange and awkward. A lot of stabbing it's like swimming with sharks. It's unfortunate. So when you get a crew of guys that you mess with, I was talking to Tammy Pescatelli over I worked with her Saturday, and she was saying that there was like a whole crew of you guys when she was down in LA at the store that all hung out together. She said it was like a crew of comics that hung out with you guys.
Very, very vengeful. I'm mental, and I never forget. I never.
That's the Sicilian in you.
Yes.
Sicilian.
Sicilian. My Irrera is Sicilian, and 1/4 Sicilian, 3/4 Abruzzese.
Nice. Have you ever been to Italy?
Yeah, a few times. I've never been to Rome though. I don't like big cities. I like Florence and those places up north.
Okay.
Dom Irrera's favorite Italian dish.
Oh, that was a question. I thought it was a song.
Question. That's a.
When in the morning hits you, I like a bigger pizza. But my favorite Italian dish, God, there's a place called Alfie's in Wildwood.
Dynamite. One of my top go-tos.
They have a thing. I know it's called Cafe Sicilian, or it's a veal cutlet. It's so fucking delicious. And even their salads are delicious.
Yeah, they got a dynamite house salad. Yep. Have you ever ate at Chef Ola's when you play Atlantic City, the cellar?
That's the one that's downstairs in the house, right?
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah, that's incredible, that place.
Yeah.
You asked me about that.
Well, I tried to go get dinner with the girls, me, you, and the ladies before the show at the Trop, and you said you were all jammed up.
Well, it's so hard because I haven't seen my family in 2 years.
Yeah,
I come back here. I was here for a wedding about 2 months ago.
Yep.
But it's so hard. Like people, I hate to pick favorites. There's only so much time you have. That's why I'd rather look. I love to be in a city where I didn't know a lot of people. I could just go to dinner with you. Somebody would be guilting me.
So I know you got a long weekend ahead. You're going to be catching up with everybody. One more time, Dom Irrera, this Friday, July 22nd. Sorry, there's a motorcycle.
I'm much funnier than this.
Let me shout that out one more time. The legendary Dom Irrera this Friday, July 22nd, 8:30 p.m. I'm fortunate enough to open Dom, Philly cannot wait to see you, my friend. Thank you a
I
million times. What's
Steve,
that?
I look forward to working with you too, man.
My man, God bless you, buddy. Thank you for taking the time to do the podcast.
Yeah, thanks, Dom.
Thank you.